Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League is a flop. Was a flop. It's dead. It's officially dead. But why is that? Why did the game fail, and what could it have been to be successful? I have an idea. If anyone wants to hear it, I hope you do, because you clicked the video. And if you like hearing me talk about things, why don't you try subscribing, liking the video, giving us that support, a little nice comment here or there. Patreon's where you can support us with the money. Tulok the Cardbarian's where we do the Magic Gathering stuff. You know, the usual YouTube kit and caboodle. I just gotta say it at the beginning, otherwise people don't do it. Let's start by being nice and figuring out what the people who like the game like about it. No one likes the game. Yeah, this is a weird intersection where just kind of everyone came together and said, yeah, this sucks. The anti-woke and the woke come together and shake hands and say this game is bad for different reasons, but you know, like, it's wild that they agree on something. Isn't that neat? Can't we just all stand together and say it's neat that we all agreed that this game was bad? But I don't think it was all bad. It wasn't 100% doggy doo-doo. And there are some things I would like to keep. One, the movement is pretty good. It's a fun game to move around in. The only problem is you are moving to places that aren't fun to be. Like Spider-Man has fun movement, but when you finish moving as Spider-Man, you either get like a job or a task you have to do that makes you move in a cool way, or you get to like fight some goons, and fighting goons is fun. Fighting goons is not fun in Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. That is an issue we will fix. Another thing that I think is great about Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League is the story. Hear me out. I do not mean the writing is good. I mean the story of Brainiac taking over the Justice League brains and Suicide Squad having to fight them. That's pretty great for a video game. It's a good setup for fun gameplay possibilities. Execution of the story, you know, maybe not so great. Concept, solid. I also think the selection of the roster is solid. If you're picking Suicide Squad members, Deadshot and Harley Quinn are obvious shoo-ins. I think Captain Boomerang adds a little spice, and King Shark adds a little funky spice, because that's a funny pick. I mean, you gotta keep in mind, King Shark was announced in this before he was in the Suicide Squad movie. You know, we hadn't enjoyed King Shark in a major way. I think just on the Harley Quinn show was where you saw some King Shark. And I guess the Flash TV show, but I don't really count that. Maybe I should. Sure, we'll count that. I think it was a good decision to pick these four as your playable characters because they can be so very, very different. You know, each one can do their own unique things and not just shoot guns. We'll get to the bad in a second. That's part of the bad. But before we get to the bad, let's get to the good eats. I'm talking about today's sponsor, Factor. Factor is a meal delivery service that sends you fresh, ready-to-eat meals right to your door. They're never frozen. You just gotta pop them in the microwave for 2 minutes and you're ready to go. Factor offers a variety of different flavors, and dietary needs are always met with Factor's varied menu. Whether you're going for something keto, trying to stay calorie smart, need a little extra protein to bulk up so you can be that big King Shark type body, yeah, Factor's got you covered. Factor is also flexible, understanding that you're a person and your schedule might change. If you need to cancel an order, you can cancel an order. If you need to reschedule an order, you can reschedule an order. They got you covered. Go to factor75.com or click the link in the description and enter offer code 50HEIGHT at checkout for 50% off your first Factor box and free shipping. Again, that is offer code 50HEIGHT at checkout for 50% off your first Factor box and free shipping. Okay, so where does Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League go wrong? First, let's address where it didn't go wrong, and yeah, that's going woke. Because I don't know what you mean by that with this game specifically. I know what it went woke means, because that means that there's a black guy, Deadshot, and there's a girl, Harley Quinn. But like, Harley Quinn and Deadshot are the Suicide Squad members. You know, that'd be like if you got mad at the Justice League because, oh, they always put Superman and Batman in there. Yeah, they do. That's like the two main members of the team. I get that like comic Deadshot was white like 20 years ago, but Will Smith is Deadshot. And like if Will Smith plays a character, Will Smith is the version of that character now. Except Genie, I guess. We don't need to talk about Genie. So yeah, I've also seen the anti-wokers who are like, I'm so mad that Harley Quinn beat Batman in this game. And guys, can you read? The game's called Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. That's just like something you buy into when you buy the product. And also they're mad that she beats Batman, not that she beats Superman, which is something I assume must happen in the game. I didn't finish it. But this has been happening since Injustice. This is just a comic book thing. There is a comic book where Tony Stark fuses a symbiote to his suit and becomes a villain, and Daredevil fights him. Daredevil fights Iron Man in a symbiote suit. Because comics are just like, there's a regular guy. They're gonna fight a god. Okay? We're moving on. So no, I don't think this failed because it was woke, and like, y'all just pick things that are woke based off of if they failed, and if they succeed, then they're actually anti-woke. Marvel Rivals is woke. They chose Ling Li to be the Iron Fist. Psylocke is Japanese, not English in that game. Like, there's black characters, Black Panther, Storm. There's a lot of women in the game. It's woke. They went woke. But you don't care because the Rule 34 page is popping on Reddit. And that's apparently not woke because the girls are hot. If the girls are hot, it's not woke. It's only woke if I don't think the girls are hot. You sound like children. So I don't think that's the issue with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I think the bigger issue is that you got Rocksteady, who made the rock solid Arkham games. I only like the first two, but we don't have to get into that. They're story-driven games that are single-player focused and really just about kind of, getting to the end. There's the Riddler trophies you can collect, but it's not this endless grind session Destiny clone. Why would you make a Destiny clone? Because there aren't that many people who like Destiny. Destiny is a popular game, but that's because everyone who likes Destiny is playing Destiny, and they don't need another Destiny. They're already Destinying. I think what it comes down to is corporate probably wanted a Fortnite, and they wanted this to be the Fortnite, and this was never going to be the Fortnite. Not to keep comparing it to Marvel Rivals, but yeah, that's an online-only game, but it's free, so you can just jump in and try it, and if it's not for you, you can just leave. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? I gotta find a faster way to say that. SSKTJL? That's also slow. Pac-Man. We're gonna call it Pac-Man. Pac-Man was not free. You had to pay money to get Pac-Man, and then you had to do a bunch of grindy bullshit that wasn't fun, which makes it a lot more comparable to the Avengers game that Square Enix put out, that no one liked. So if you want to make a Fortnite, you have to make it free. You can't charge money for your Fortnite, because then you don't have an install base. And also, Marvel Rivals has all the Marvel heroes. Spider-Man, Wolverine, Iron Man, Hulk, Storm, popular characters that people really, really want to beat. The Suicide Squad is like a B team, maybe even a C team. Harley Quinn is popular, but everyone else on there is kind of, embarrassing. That's the point. That's the fun of it. So you are never going to be able to sell a Fortnite or Marvel Rivals type experience with the Suicide Squad being the ones who are playable instead of the Justice League. Which is why Rocksteady should have focused on making one central story that you go through, and you don't have to grind for loot or anything. And maybe that would make the game shorter, unless we get to the real fix for Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. The real fix for Pac-Man is reading the title, Suicide Squad, Pac-Man, Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. If we break that down, Suicide Squad means you're going to die a lot. Kills the Justice League means the things that you are fighting are harder than you are. You are weak and squishy and soft, Suicide Squad, fighting the Justice League. So we should have big, scary, very, very hard boss fights against squishy little babies. I'm not saying it should be a Souls-like, because I'm burnt out on Souls-likes. I'm saying Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League should have been a roguelike. For those who don't know, a roguelike is a game that has a million definitions, but basically you run through a series of corridors and rooms, get various power-ups that make you stronger, fight the same similar bosses every time, or different bosses every time, presumably get your ass handed to you, and then you try again and do better after leveling up in between. It's kind of Soulsy. I think there's a lot of overlap between people who like Souls games and people who like roguelikes, like me. But it's definitely more of its own thing. It doesn't have bonfires or soul running. And I think Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League could have been a really good roguelike with some really cool mechanics. Number one, it'd be multiplayer. I think the idea to have a 4-player squad shooter that also functions as a roguelike could be so neat. Like, I love Hades and my friends love Hades, but we can't play Hades together. If we could play Hades together and each pick like a different role, kind of merging a hero shooter like an Overwatch or a Marvel Rivals into a roguelike like a Hades, that'd be just the coolest thing ever. I think the big thing you need to do is just take these 4 characters and make sure they're different and stop giving all of them guns. It's really messed up that King Shark uses guns in the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game, but it's really, really bad that Captain Boomerang uses guns. Cause his name's Captain Boomerang, guys. That's the thing. So have each of them play different. Have Harley Quinn be kind of like a scout from Team Fortress 2, running around really fast, a bat smacks people in the back of the head, and a little shotgun that gets up close. She wants to sprint in, sprint out, that kind of play style. Tracer Overwatch is another one. Any of the 15 flankers from Marvel Rivals would work too. Deadshot, that's your sniper. Give him a machine gun too. Widowmaker, Black Widow, that kind of thing. Give him a grappling hook so he can get up high and do cool trick shots, because people like to do cool trick shots. King Shark, big old tank, no guns. He's just got big arms and he can charge and run around really, really fast and like trample people. He also gets a bite attack. You give him a bite attack, and if he bites someone at low health, he eats them and heals. Because an important part of roguelike, you don't want a lot of heals. You don't want a lot of health packs laying around or anything like that. The challenge is to not lose your health. But since King Shark is going to be a lot bigger than the other members of the squad, I'll just call it the squad from now on. Sure, we'll change the name again. He's going to be a lot bigger than the other members of the squad, so he's going to take more damage. He needs a method to heal. It would also let you, when you get to the boss fights against the Justice League members, eat them, which I think would be neat. If you like work it out so they're at the low health, you have that cooldown, you just gobble them. And then there can be an achievement for gobbling all the members of the Justice League. Doesn't that sound fun? Doesn't that sound neat? And finally, Captain Boomerang is kind of the mid-distance fighter. You know, he's throwing boomerangs. They go, they come back to him. I think we keep the movement ability where he can teleport to his boomerangs that he had in the base game. I think that's fun. Again, I don't think the game was totally terrible. The movement was fun, and everyone should move about that fast. It'd be fun. You just, also have King Shark eat people, which might sound a little gritty, and it might sound a little M-rated. But the game is M-rated. It's not for kids. So if you're going to make an M-rated game with suicide and kill in the title, yeah, get a little M-rated with it. Have King Shark bite someone in half. Have Harley Quinn dome someone. Learn from the mistakes of DC versus Mortal Kombat, where everyone was like, oh, we were kind of hoping Superman would crush someone's chest cavity and then laser vision out their butthole. And then they didn't. But this is the game you could do that. You could even have the Justice League members have fatalities, because presumably you're going to die to them. And then when you die to them, you could get a fatality from them where Flash just grabs your head and grinds you across the pavement, like just making a schmear. Just schmearing cream cheese, except it's your brains on the pavement. That'd be great. It's an M-rated game. Be M-rated. Or don't be M-rated and don't make this game. Frankly, you just shouldn't do it if you're not gonna do it. Did you just do it so you could say the F word? Is that it? Do we just want to say the F word? So no. Originally, I thought of kind of a lame option for how the roguelike element of it would work with Dr. Fate, resetting the fate of fate when you die and be like, no, I saw fate and fate saw that the Suicide Squad won, so we're going again. That was stupid. Shout outs to my buddy Mason, though, who came up with a much better idea using the Lazarus Pit. So yeah, Ra's al Ghul doesn't like that Brainiac has taken over the world, so he'll throw you in the Lazarus Pit. That's also how you level up between missions, because the Lazarus Pit also makes you stronger and gives you stronger abilities and stuff. I also think maybe the headquarters is Titan Tower, just so then you can have Raven holding up a barrier that protects your little home base. Every roguelike needs a home base, and Amanda Waller is still the boss, because Amanda Waller is the boss. And then you leave, and then you go do your Suicide Squad thing. As far as bosses go, I think, core 7 Justice League members would be Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Aquaman, and Cyborg. I grew up with Cyborg as a Teen Titan, so I prefer him as a Teen Titan. But Warner Brothers seems to really like Cyborg as a Justice League member, so that's fine. Cyborg can be a Justice League member. And I don't think you fight 7 bosses and do 7 sections, because that would be too much for a roguelike. Most roguelikes have 3 or 4 sections, up to 10, but if it is 10, that's like 10 total, like individual rooms. So I think what you do is you break it up with Cyborg and Batman in the first area, and then you upgrade your challenge after that and choose between Aquaman and Wonder Woman. They're kind of the warriors of the Justice League, who also would have like armies at their command instead of sidekicks like Batman and Cyborg would have. Then Flash and Green Lantern. We're getting into cosmic, we're getting into timey-wimey. That's the hard stuff. And then every final fight is against Superman. And Superman is really, really hard. And you make Superman scary because God, fighting Superman should be really scary and should be impossible if it weren't for Lex Luthor, who is this game's Daedalus equivalent. If you've played the Hades games, the Daedalus hammer upgrades your weapon in some sort of way. So I think you have Lex Luthor show up somewhere in the route to give you a kryptonite enhancement for whatever weapon you have that tweaks how the gameplay works. And every one of the 4 players who is playing the game gets to pick a different one based off of what character they are. So we've got different enhancements for Harley Quinn's weapons. We've got different enhancements for Deadshot's weapons. Captain Boomerang's, King Shark's, those are the 4 characters. All of these different options and 4 different main characters in a 3D platformable environment with various abilities would be a pretty major ask for a game studio to do, but this game was expensive. So yeah, it should be. It should be a pretty groundbreaking thing to do. I'm also basically describing what I think Night Rain is. So yeah, I guess I'm also just pitching that it's Night Rain, but it's not a Souls-like because it's a roguelike. So it's different. Roguelikes also have regular sets of buffs and special powers, and boy howdy, I think we can basically just rip off Hades one for one with different people to give you power-ups for your Suicide Squad team. What am I talking about? Well, in Hades you got Dionysus, who gives you regen and hangover, which is a status effect that works like poison. So, Poison Ivy, Batman villain, would give you regen because of plant shit and give you poison because she's poison. Hermes in Hades gives you speed boosts that make you go faster and do fast things. Reverse Flash fucking hates Barry Allen and would give you speed powers to go beat his ass. Aphrodite charms your foes, makes them hit less hard. Cersei would be a great Wonder Woman villain to do an Aphrodite thing, even though, Wonder Woman is connected literally to Greek mythology. You could just have Aphrodite, but I want them to be villains. So each hero has a villain that wants to give you power-ups. Cyborg's villain, Brother Blood. Another reason I don't love Cyborg as the Justice League member. I don't know, he just doesn't have antagonists. Brother Blood's like a generic Teen Titans antagonist, but sure, I think he's most antagonistic to Cyborg, and he can be your Ares equivalent. If you didn't want Ares to just be your Ares equivalent and get the charm effect from someone else. The Joker, by the way, is not the Batman option because the Joker is Chaos. Chaos in Hades gives you a debuff for a certain number of rooms and then you get a big buff because of it. Joker would just kind of mess with you. He doesn't really care about anyone on the team, especially not Harley Quinn. So he just thinks it's funny to be like, I don't know, sometimes all the bad guys are going to explode for a few rooms and that'll make your knife sharper or whatever. But Phil, how is this going to make an endless amount of money? Because that's what Warner Brothers was really trying to do when they tried to make a Fortnite. Skins. Harley Quinn should be selling 1,000 skins just as herself. Forget King Shark, forget Deadshot, forget Captain Boomerang. Harley Quinn is the Mercy of this game, or the Tracer of this game, where you can just sell so many skins because everyone wants to dress up the pretty girl like they are playing Barbie. And the actress who played Barbie also played Harley Quinn. It's like the stars are aligned. You can also make money with DLC, and y'all should be so glad I do not work at a video game company because I would be taking every last nickel and dime you had with DLC. In the Teen Titans area, in your little hub area, Deathstroke is sitting there the entire time, and you can go up to him and you can say, Deathstroke, come on, you gotta help us out. Deathstroke says, I don't work for free. I fucking hate Deathstroke, by the way. I think the character's such a joke and such a fucking creep, but everyone thinks he's cool, so, Deathstroke says he doesn't work for free. and then you buy DLC and he's the first character you unlock. Each character you unlock also unlocks another member of the Justice League to fight against and another villain to give you boons. So you get Shazam, and Shazam comes with Black Adam, who gives you lightning boons, like Zeus in Hades. Because again, I'm not original. We're just stealing stuff. Green Arrow and Black Canary join when you get, I don't know, Enchantress or some shit. And then you also get Captain Cold, and he does ice stuff, like Demeter, because ice is nice. Just ask Knack 2. All of this would create a perpetual gameplay loop that is just fun to do over and over again and isn't about grinding better guns that give you a 0.7% reload bonus or minimize spray by 0.x4%. Disgusting. Don't ever make me do that. Borderlands kind of killed video games for a little bit by doing that. I like Borderlands, but yeah, fuck that shit. That's so annoying. You don't have to power up your guys beyond, some basic roguelike power-ups where you get a dodge roll, you get a little more health, you get a little more ammo. I guess I'm kind of describing that, but it's fixed buffs. It's not farming to hopefully get something with a 16-round mag instead of a 14-round mag. When you level up Deadshot, you just say, you know what I need more? I need more ammo. You know what I need? I need a better crit chance. That kind of thing. Instead of this constant, oh, well, this has a better fire rate, but it doesn't have as good of range. That's so annoying. So yeah, I guess I'm just yapping about a game I wish existed. Because I remember hearing about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, seeing that first trailer and being like, okay, Rocksteady's making a sick-ass game where you beat up the Justice League. That's something I've kind of wanted since I was a kid. I mean, what I wanted was like a Punisher game, because, I was a 6th grader once, so I liked Punisher once upon a time, where Punisher has to, kill everyone in Marvel. And you start off with him fighting Captain America, beat Captain America, now he's got Captain America's shield. And that makes it easier for him to fight Thor and get Thor's hammer. And you just constantly upgrade your weapons based off of big Shadow of the Colossus style boss fights against impossible odds. I've always wanted that. That's something I wanted in 6th grade. It was just an idea that lodged itself in my head. And so I saw Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League and I was like, oh my God, Rocksteady's making it. They made 2 great Batman games and one that was fine. This is going to be great. And it wasn't. And it made me sad. So I don't know what to do about all this. Obviously I don't work there, but I think just in general, it would be great if companies didn't try and focus on trying to make the most popular thing again and thinking about just really what works for the story the video game is trying to portray. Because if you're making a game about the Suicide Squad, killing the Justice League, roguelike is the perfect genre for it, not Destiny clone. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe and support this kind of video. I like doing these kind of rant videos. I have a lot of fun with it, and it's a good time. It also leaves me more time to work on longer videos, like that Final Fantasy video that was really, really long. So, it supports that too, because I just send this off to an editor after I've yapped for a long time. I don't want to say it. Join the Patreon to support the channel. It's the best place to do it. Check out Twitch to see us stream games live, and check out Tulok the Cardbarian if you like Magic the Gathering and want to see us build some commander decks. Bye-bye.